Good afternoon. Welcome to Mike and the Hoss on Wolfeboro Community Television. I'm Mike Danais.
And I'm Charlie Hossack.
Coach, we want to thank our sponsors, Skelly's Market,
Downtown Grill and Cafe.
and Morrissey's Porch and Pub. Thank you.
Thank you.
We're getting going.
We are.
We are getting going. So we weren't here last week. We took a week off.
Took a week off.
And
I think we needed that week. I mean, it was a start of a new school year, kind of easing into things, and it's been good. How's the start of your school year going?
It's different.
Yeah.
You know, we had talked on the radio that it was certainly different.
It is different.
The hybrid model. I'm teaching a lot of the same lessons because you know the small groups of
different
kids that
cohorts.
are coming through. Yeah.
Sure.
But the kids have been great. I'm very impressed, and I teach middle school, and the kids have been really cooperative. In a general good frame of mind, because this is certainly different. They don't get that social aspect that they normally would have in a middle school, which is a big part of middle school. The kids have been good. How about yourself?
It's been awesome. So I'm doing something a little different this year. I'm doing K through 3.
Yeah.
And you know, everybody always said, "Oh, the little ones, you're never going to be able to keep their masks on. How are you going to do it?" And the kids have been awesome. I mean, they're so resilient. We take plenty of mask breaks outside, but the kids, even the littlest ones, the kindergartners, have been amazing, and it's been a good start. Some of the takeaways that I really enjoy. I love having the small class sizes. You can give so much more attention to the kids, and that's been a benefit. So overall, it's been an A+.
Well, we've always known, and research supports us, that the smaller class size, kids get more attention. They do a lot better.
Yeah.
And here we are. We're living it.
We're living it.
And it's really good. And you see a difference in the kids there. The distractions aren't there.
No.
You know.
Yeah.
You know, you have them. And as a teacher, you can go in there and see, and get to every single kid in the class.
Yeah, which is awesome.
So it's been good.
Yeah,
so
it has been. It's good to be back, though.
It's good to be back. Yes. As far as sports go, practices are still going. Kingswood is getting. We are 2 weeks from this Friday, I believe, is the opening for some of the teams are going to go.
Yeah, some of the teams. So that would be like October 2nd, something like that.
Something like that, and then October 3rd is the football start.
I know, the first football game, home game, is the 3rd.
Which are going to be on Saturdays.
Yeah, and we'll be there broadcasting that game,
Yep.
not only on WASR, but, of course, Wolfeboro Community TV.
Right. Golf did start.
They did.
They had a match last week. They have a match this week.
Yeah.
And golf it's a little bit different the way they're doing it. They have... It's only one team that they're playing, or normally there would be three other teams that would come in and create foursomes that way.
Right.
And so you have a match against each one of those teams. Right now there's just one team. They played up at Ridgewood Country Club, and they won pretty handily against Wolfeboro.
That's awesome.
So that was a good start for their season.
Let's throw the shout out. Will Danais, if you listened to the radio show, Will Danais was a medalist, which means he shot the best, the lowest score. So congratulations to Will, who is a sophomore. That's awesome. And the future of the golf team is pretty incredible. I know that we mentioned the likes of like Henry Saunders. Henry Saunders is a
really good golfer.
Yeah.
Reese Clark, Mikey Palmer,
Yeah,
Kate Hurtado's a freshman that he's going to contribute. There are some kids. Now, I talked to Coach Fuller today about getting him on, and he's going to wait until next week.
Okay.
And so we are going to get Coach Fuller on, either on television or the radio, either one. To let us know how things are going. They have a very, very short season. The state championship, I think, is like October 15th.
Look, that's essentially coming right up.
Yeah, less than a month, 3 weeks away.
Yeah.
And so their season is short. And they don't have the matches, but with golf, you can kind of get away with that because every day is kind of a match. Golf is golf. You shoot your lowest score. You're not necessarily playing against somebody all the time. You're playing against yourself, and so golf's in good shape. I like going through the fields and seeing all the practices that are going on. Very organized. I do want to get Alex Tria in at some point. I'm curious to hear, is the Kingswood athletic trainer, how things are going for him,
right? And
keeping everybody under control.
Yeah, keeping everybody safe and with the social distance. I'm trying to pull up here. If people are looking, like, why are you distracted?
I was wondering.
Yeah, you're like, why? Oh, Mike's really boring me, so I'm just gonna check my phone. No, I'm trying to pull up, and I'm having a difficult time here. I'm trying to pull out our athletes of the week, and I don't know what's going on with my phone, so I'm trying to get that. But let's move on, and I will, or maybe you can do that. And I do want to mention, as Mike's going to pull it up on his phone, I do want to mention that we have bass fishing. I talked with Mr. House, our athletic director, yesterday, and bass fishing will be starting this week, which is exciting. So they're going to be out there, and similar to golf, bass fishing has a really quick season, so they'll be moving on to regionals and things like that. So here we go. We have athlete of the week.
Athletes of the week.
Athletes of the week. So we have 2 athletes of the week, and these are the first.
So,
hang on a second. I'm trying to introduce this segment.
Okay.
So we have
double around on your phone for 20 minutes, and now I find it. And
I hear you. We have 2 athletes of the week, and this is kind of a start where Kingswood athletes are recognized by their coaches, and their coaches can nominate them, and they send them in to Mr. House, and the athletic department selects 2 athletes of the week. They get a T-shirt.
Yes.
They get recognition on Mike and the Hoss. Obviously, they get recognition outside of the athletic director's office, and it's a pretty big honor. And then hopefully at the end of the year, they'll get an opportunity to have a photograph with all of them, and maybe even a breakfast sponsored by the Boosters Club. So that is my introduction to the segment. So Michael, would you like to tell us?
For us this week.
Yeah. Would you like to tell us who the athletes of the week are?
Sure. The female athlete of the week is Rachel Paraskos in field hockey, and and the male athlete of the week is Josh Finneran in boys soccer. And so I have a write-up here. Our female athlete of the week is Rachel Paraskos. The field hockey coach staff notes that Rachel has worked to be in amazing shape and leading the pack in overall fitness. Rachel has also been a great mentor to the underclassmen, cheering them on during preseason and tryouts. Congratulations, Rachel.
Awesome.
Our male athlete of the week is Josh Finneran from the boys varsity soccer. Josh is a senior captain this year and has impressed. Wow, I can't believe Josh is a senior.
I know.
And has impressed the boys soccer coaching staff during summer sessions, preseason, and tryouts. He came into preseason prepared and ready to play, posting the best mile time. Josh is a leader on the field and in the classroom, at the top of the senior class in terms of GPA and center of the Knights back line. Great work, Josh. I'll speak to both of them. I was fortunate enough to have both of those kids in class, and I second everything that is said there. Rachel Paraskos is just such a nice, positive girl. I mean, it's really enjoyable to be around. And Josh is a next level student. He really is just an incredible student, and to see him doing that kind of work on the soccer field,
great really student, great athlete, and a great kid.
Great futures.
So congratulations to Josh and to Rachel.
All right. Celtics?
Yeah, let's talk Celtics.
Are you ready to go Celtics?
I'm ready to go Celtics. I mean, I'm all in with the Celtics.
Oh, I know you're all in.
Yeah.
You got the Celtics in 7.
I got the Celtics in 7. That's correct. I have the Celtics in 7, and you have...
I reserve the right to change it, but...
Oh, of course you can change it. I mean, it's pretty much weekly with you. You change your mind.
No, that would be you. That is, you're the one who changes the mind.
That.
I had them losing in 5.
Yeah.
And I liked what I saw. And this is the first time we talked since the game 3, which was Saturday, I think. They looked a little different. They looked pretty good.
They looked much different.
Gordon Hayward brought a different element to that team.
Mm-hmm. He did.
And I have in our notes here the Hayward difference. I think there is a Hayward difference. Now, can it happen over the next game?
It's 2-1. So it's 2-1 Miami. So
now, theoretically,
they play again tomorrow night.
He should get better. You know, he was off for a month. He should get better.
Right.
And I like some of the things that I've seen from the Celtics since he came back. He's missing the birth of his child.
He is. He's decided to stay in the bubble, and
and he's committed to his team.
He is.
And he says, I missed enough time. I've been around my family. I'm good. I'm going to stay. That's something that we brought up last week, or you and I had talked last week, the difference with Miami and Boston. Miami, they really didn't have their families come. They said, this is a business trip. We're here to win a title.
Right.
And so the families didn't come. The Celtics were trying to get more tickets for the families to come in.
Yeah, bring them in.
So there's a little bit of a different mentality there. And Hayward says, I'm playing basketball right now. Mm-hmm. He's not ditching his family. This
is my job right now.
And he was just home for, a couple weeks.
Right.
So I think that's something. There was after game 2, there was a tussle in the locker room.
Yeah.
And came out, after a while that it was between Jaylen Brown and Marcus Smart.
Right.
Marcus Smart got on Jaylen Brown's case and so on, and we really debated, is this going to help them or is this going to hurt them?
Yep.
And it seems, if it was going to hurt them, it would have hurt them on the other night.
Definitely.
It didn't hurt them.
It seemed to fire them up and get them ready. And the other thing, I don't know if have you seen any of the, the Celtics hanging around at the pool and the horseplay and having fun? I mean, it's good stuff to see because they're a team. They're hanging together. They're playing together. They're goofing around. Marcus Smart was pushing people into the pool, and you could just kind of tell that this team truly has gelled. And I am committed to the Celtics. I feel like they're going to win in 7. I'm also with the Hayward difference is even though he didn't give big numbers, it doesn't matter. Just having his presence on the court, his passes, his ball movement, having him back, the Celtics are a much, much better team. And we kind of we debated that early in the playoffs. When and if is Hayward coming back? Is it going to make a difference? And we already saw, at least in Game 3, it made a significant difference.
The passing.
Yeah.
The penetration and the passing I thought was huge. The rebounding.
Yeah.
His stat line wasn't great. It was like 6, 4, 3, something like that.
He contributed, but it wasn't huge.
But his presence made a difference out there. It really did. And instead of Brad Wanamaker coming off the bench, you had Gordon Hayward. And we're talking about not just a one-level different player. We're talking about 10 levels of difference of player.
Yeah.
So, you have that guy now coming off the bench. And if he can find his game, because he's capable of putting up 30. He's done that before, especially on these nights when the other guys aren't scoring.
Right.
Who was the star of Game 3?
Star of Game 3? I don't know. I don't know. I'm still a Marcus Smart fan because of his intensity.
Jaylen Brown is the leader of this team now. Jaylen Brown is the one. Jaylen Brown
Why is he the leader? Why not Tatum?
Because Jaylen Brown.
Why not Marcus Smart? Sorry, go ahead.
First of all, just because Marcus Smart yells at everybody and is that, I'm not dissing Marcus Smart. Marcus Smart is a great player who
rebounds
and
plays
all this kind
defense.
And plays. So does Jaylen Brown.
Shutdown defense.
Jaylen Brown also plays defense.
Oh, I agree.
Jaylen Brown also doesn't whine for the ball. Jaylen Brown is not taking ridiculous, off-balance shots.
I'll give you that, especially when we look at that final shot by Tatum, but in Game 2.
Right. Jaylen Brown plays, a much better. I'm looking at Jaylen Brown as a much bigger leader right now than anybody else that's out there, and it was. The locker room scuffle was Marcus Smart throwing things all over the place, and Jaylen Brown said, "Shut up,
settle down,
settle down.
Yeah.
We got this.
Yeah.
And he's the one." And so then they went at it and so on. But I think Jaylen Brown needs to be a little bit more involved in the offense. When he scores 20, Celtics are like 15-1.
Yeah.
So there's a big difference between when Brown has scored. Tatum can score 30 all the time. Doesn't seem to move the needle on whether they win or not.
Yeah, you need Brown to pick it up.
Jaylen Brown seems to be the guy that moves that needle. And Kemba Walker is not scoring really well right now.
No.
He's not. And this has been like 4 or 5 games now where we've seen that.
He doesn't have, think about it. He doesn't have a lot of playoff experience. He won his first series with the Celtics.
Yeah. But still, you brought him in. This is a really good opportunity for the Celtics to win.
Yeah.
It really is.
Oh, it's great. We had talked about how, that the path to the finals we thought was clear. We didn't expect to go down 2-0 to Miami.
No.
So I think this is an excellent opportunity. Get through Miami, and who knows what's going to happen. What do you got? You got the Lakers in the finals? Who do you have?
Just the Lakers and LeBron. No big deal.
What do you got, the Lakers? Yeah.
Just those Lakers.
We'll just put Marcus on them.
Just those
Marcus
little Lakers.
Smart.
Just those little Lakers. Not that big of a deal. I want to Enes Kanter.
Yeah.
Which I spelled his name wrong, and I was
Sorry.
told by one of my students, he said you spelled his name wrong.
Yeah.
When he was in there, he was a force rebounding with the ball. The big boy.
Yeah, he's very big.
He's not as tall as he's like 6'10", but he carries himself like a 7'1" guy.
He does, yeah.
And he makes a difference in there.
Mm-hmm.
He does, and I think him in the first half, he kind of controlled those boards a little bit in the first half where the Celtics were able to build up that lead. Yeah. They almost gave up the game again, right? Miami got it within 5 with about a minute left.
They did, yeah. I was prepared to text you to say the Celtics can't finish. They're struggling to finish, but yeah, it got a little exciting at the end. I can't. I don't know. The older that I get, I like excitement, but I don't want excitement every single game. I would really like the Celtics to go out and win by double digits.
I'm gonna talk
Yeah.
about the Patriots. The best Patriot games
Yeah.
of all their Super Bowls or their AFC Championship games
Yeah.
has been the one that they've been out in front and.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, so
It's just easy. I can eat my chicken wings and not worry.
like the last Super Bowl when they beat the Rams.
Yeah.
And they were out by 10 points for
Yeah.
a couple of minutes, and you knew the Rams weren't scoring. The Patriots D was off
Right.
the charts at that point.
Yeah.
And it was so
You're relaxed.
enjoyable.
Yeah, exactly.
Or the AFC Championship, the deflate game when they beat Indianapolis by like 50.
Just rolled. Yeah.
Oh, it was just such an enjoyable, second half, and just get
It
to
is.
watch and
I know.
those nail biters that they've
No.
had in Super Bowls.
And then
is
Sunday
just-
night's game, like I couldn't go to bed, and then we'll talk about it in a minute, but like I'm on edge,
Yeah.
and it's just So,
So I would.
all right. So what do you got for the Celtics? I'm still going with Celtics in 7. What do you have?
Can I go either or?
Yeah, sure.
Okay,
Sure.
I think it's gonna be. They're gonna be. They're gonna lose.
Either the Heat are going to win or the Celtics are going to
No.
win. Is that what you're saying?
The Heat are gonna win in 5. That they're gonna figure this thing out,
Okay.
or the Celtics are gonna win in 6.
All right.
I don't think the Celtics can afford to lose another game.
Yeah, they can't go down 3-1.
Yep. So
All right.
I'm gonna, and if they get this thing tied up, the
It's a 3-game series.
well, and the Heat have been shooting lights out,
Yeah.
and I just don't think that that's gonna last.
No.
They don't have enough guys that gets to the rim.
Mm-hmm.
They got Jimmy Butler and
Yeah. So I think you're right. I think the most important game is for us would be tomorrow night's game. They need to tie the series up 2-2. So because
All right.
I think 3-1 is it's going to be hard for the Celtics to come back.
okay.
All right. Where are we going?
We're going Patriots.
Patriots. Okay.
Your 1-1 New England Patriots.
Yeah, but you know what? It's weird to say this. It's a good feeling 1-1, at least for me.
Yeah.
I think the Patriots, they lost to Seattle. Seattle is an elite team, but man, they look good. I'm not gonna say what I want to say. I'm gonna say it. I don't think Tom Brady would have been as successful Sunday night in a Patriots uniform as Cam Newton was.
I've gone on record. The
Yeah.
Patriots are a better team this year with Cam Newton than Tom Brady.
Right.
Cam Newton right now is a better quarterback than Tom Brady.
I agree.
And Cam Newton is better for the Patriots than Tom Brady is.
yeah.
I mean, Tom Brady, that thing had run its course, and he will always be the greatest quarterback that ever lived.
Right.
He will always be that. But he didn't want to be here anymore.
Right.
And it was obvious, and now we're seeing, Demir Bird get involved with it.
Yeah.
N'Keal Harry,
Yeah.
got some 8 catches.
Julian Edelman had a career game.
Edelman is still doing the same thing that he was doing before.
Yeah.
Which is a good thing.
Yeah.
Would like to see a little bit more tight end action happen, but these guys are. When Brady first came up, and you and I have said this before,
Yeah.
he threw the guy who was open. Remember all that talk?
Yeah.
Whoever was open.
Whoever's
And
open,
he
yeah.
would spread the ball in the first half. 8 guys would have catches.
Yeah.
That went away, and I blame that on the Randy Moss years more than anything
Yeah.
else.
He just threw to his favorite targets.
It was Moss and Welker, and then that was it.
Yeah.
And so he just kind of honed in on that when he started going for stats.
Yeah.
I think is that when Brady
Yeah.
started becoming that.
And you
next
had that,
level
and
in
then
the
when they left,
TB12.
you had Amendola, and of course you had Edelman, and so.
So right now that was a good loss. If there's a good loss,
Yeah.
that was a really good loss because Seattle, like you said, is an elite team.
Mm-hmm.
They have Russell Wilson, who's playing an elite level. He's an MVP candidate anyway. And they went up to Seattle. No fans, though, so there's a little bit of a thing
Sure.
there. But they went up there. Cam Newton played really well, had one real bad pass. But, who knows how many Brady would have had.
Right.
Julian Edelman, like you mentioned, had a career game. I like to see Newton finding Edelman because he's somebody who just moves those sticks. He's the
Right.
one guy that really can get open. Bird had a good game. The defense, concern on the defense.
Yeah.
They 35 to Seattle in Seattle is legit, but it's the way they got those 35. It seemed easy.
Yeah, but I don't know. I think it's also Russell Wilson. So I'm not overly concerned with the Patriots defense. I expected Seattle to score a lot of points, and it was only 35.
35 is 5 touchdowns, 5
Yeah.
throwing touchdowns.
I get it, but it's Russell Wilson.
Okay.
Russell Wilson is.
It's only 35.
Russell Wilson going into week 2 was the MVP candidate number 1.
Going into week 3, he still is.
Yeah, so I'm not overly concerned. They're not going to face a lot of Russell Wilsons in the regular season.
Okay. They have.
They're going to face Jimmy Garoppolo
and Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, I'm not.
Lamar Jackson.
I'm not overly concerned about Patrick Mahomes.
Deshaun Watson.
I get it that there's some good quarterbacks out there, but they're still not at the level of Russell Wilson.
Patrick Mahomes?
I don't think so. No. We'll talk about that when it's time for Kansas City.
Okay.
No.
I think the biggest thing that coming out of the Patriots, there's hope. The bar is a little bit higher than we thought it might be.
Oh, it's much higher. So what I was saying before, like when the game ended, was I disappointed? Yes, but normally when the Patriots lose, like I'm really disappointed and like I mope and I'm mopey for the next couple days. This was like I woke up like, hey, it's all right. It's a loss. It was a good loss, like you said. I was okay to move on.
Somebody said, I can't remember who said this, that the Patriots had nothing to lose in this game.
Yeah, I think you said that.
Was it me?
Yeah, I think you were. I think you were the one that said that. Yeah, they had nothing to lose and everything to gain, and they certainly gained quite a bit. I think. Granted, we had talked about this. If they had won the game, they would have been the talk of the NFL all week. But they're still being talked. They're still being talked about.
So is Cam Newton.
Because wow, this team is something special. Now, who do you give credit to?
For what?
For the success of the Patriots through the first 2 weeks.
I always give credit to the same person. It's Bill Belichick.
Okay, yeah, so do I. I give it to Bill Belichick, but I also give it to Josh McDaniels. I think he's putting together a nice package.
I have in the notes play call.
Yeah.
So,
let's. Are we talking about the play call at the end of the game?
Yes, we'll get a little critical.
All right.
So. They line up on the 3 on the 3 or the 1 or something like that, whatever it was, and no receivers, just big fatties in there and against their big fatties, and we're going to see what happens. Mm-hmm. Why not? This is where I don't understand, and I didn't like that. Why not spread it out 5 wide in that situation? Get these guys out of the box.
Yeah.
And then at least create some question.
Yeah,
on what you might do.
I think what the Patriots have shown. I wanted to see some play action there. I honestly do think Seattle guessed, and they guessed correctly because they crashed the corner down, and it just so happened that's the way Cam Newton went. So kudos to Seattle for guessing correctly because it could have gone either way. But that would have been a perfect opportunity to do a little play action. They had shown it earlier, and Seattle bid on it.
Yeah,
and it's. One of the arguments was like, well, they bid on it once, they're not going to bite on it again. Well, I think they would have bid on it again.
But you have Newton. He can run at any point. At least put something else on the table and leave running as an option for him.
Yeah. Because he can do, you're right, if you spread them, right.
But there was no option in that. It was everybody who was watching on TV, nobody was there, but everybody who was watching on TV knew that he was running the ball because there was no other play to be run from that formation.
Right.
And so I have a problem with that. We used to go back when the Patriots when they were used to run 4 and 5 wide, with the flying offenses when Brady was throwing for 5,000 yards and so on. They ran so well out of those sets because there was nobody in the box.
Right.
Everybody was outside on the wings, and there was the wide receivers could block. And the one thing with our wide receivers is that they can block. Edelman's a great blocker. N'Keal Harry's huge.
an amazing blocker.
Right. Yeah. So why not take Cam and just run him behind some receivers?
Yeah.
I just think that there was a better play than that, and I'm hoping that they're going to learn from that.
Yeah, I think you're right. I'm sure Josh McDaniels is beating himself up all week. Cam Newton came out and said that he took blame for the play, but it's one of those things where you look back and you're like, okay, I'm not going to make that mistake again.
Should Belichick have called a timeout after the Edelman catch?
I don't know, but
he could have gotten another play in.
He could have gotten another play in, and we talk about that a little bit with and you looked in previous games where Bill's not always. I'm sitting there yelling, "Call a timeout," but Bill never does, and I guess Bill knows best, and Bill we trust.
Well, it goes back to the Seattle Super Bowl, actually, the Seattle Super Bowl.
Yeah, the whole thing with the pick.
Right.
Yeah,
And
I mean,
he
all of
did
us are
call
yelling.
timeout because he
Yeah.
was looking across the.
He was looking at Pete Carroll.
And he said they were a little frantic over there. They didn't know what was going on, so he
Yeah.
didn't want to call a timeout
Yeah.
because they didn't have their stuff together, and he didn't
Yeah.
want to give them a shot
Yeah.
to put things.
That's the
There's-
genius of Bill.
Well, and there's some feeling that was the same thing here. Is that he did not want them to. He didn't
be able
want
to
to take
set
a timeout
something up.
and set something up defensively.
Yeah.
Where, and I get it. And
Yeah.
if he has confidence in his guys that he does not need to set something up, they can set it up and do what
Yeah.
they need to do. But in hindsight, he could have used another play.
He could have. He could have. But
He's a crappy coach. I don't know why we follow him.
yeah. All right. Hey, but last thing on Bill before we move on.
The Subway commercial.
What? Yeah. No, not the Subway commercial. Great. What was that mask? The
I don't
Bella beak, right? It was the beak. What was he wearing?
I don't know, but it was like off of his mouth.
It was.
So I don't
So
know.
he's got it like off the mouth, under the nose, and Pete Carroll gets fined $100,000.
Do you know how many?
by
how
the
much-
league?
Do you know how much money they've collected so far in fines?
No.
$1.05 million
Wow.
in mask fines. The NFL.
Wow.
He wasn't the only one. There was three
No,
coaches.
no, I
three
know.
coaches got nailed.
Not Andy Reid. He still
No.
got his shield, and he figured out the issue with fogging up. Hey, before we go, what are your thoughts about Pete Carroll? Like him? Can't stand him?
I've always liked Pete Carroll. I think seems to be a good guy, and what he does works for him.
Yeah.
And I'm surprised it has worked as long term as it has in Seattle.
Yeah.
But
He's super rah-rah.
he doesn't get any more rah-rah.
Yeah.
like this.
I mean, he's not the clapper,
No,
but he is super rah-rah.
everything's positive.
Yeah.
You know, after the game, these guys are gonna remember it all the rest of their lives. You know, this
Yeah, yeah.
that play is like, dude, it's
yeah.
week 2.
Yeah.
You know, relax.
Yeah. Well, it's true. It's almost because of the college component too. Obviously, he coached in college. That yeah, I totally get that. I'm actually, most people, I don't know, a lot of people that I talk to don't like him. I like him. I like the rah rah. I'm okay with it. I love the gum chewing.
The gum chewing. He's older than Belichick.
He is, and he looks great.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
You know what he does for exercise?
no.
He surfs. That's it. He's a surfer.
Wow. Man.
69-year-old surfer.
He's so cool. Hang loose.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's how he talks,
Nice.
too.
Yeah. Right on.
All right. Around the NFL, who's dominant in the NFL right now?
I think the Seahawks are great. I think the Chiefs are great.
The Chiefs almost lost to San Diego.
They did.
In San Diego. Quickly on the Chiefs, I thought the Chiefs looked beatable.
Yeah.
The Sammy Watkins concussion was pretty scary.
Yeah.
We've seen concussions before. Guys get up woozy and all that.
Yeah,
He couldn't open his eyes. That's
yeah.
a concussion.
Yeah.
The kicker. Oh my God! Did you catch the end of this?
I did. It was the
Did you
most.
hear about it?
I watched it.
Oh, you watched it, okay.
I watched Butker. So Jonathan wasn't there, my son, but I told him about it. That is like, he is as cool as ice. The guy's amazing. Nothing phases him.
He makes a 53-yarder.
Yep.
They're offsides. They drop
Yep.
back to 58. Makes a 58-yarder.
They
They call
call
timeout.
yeah.
Then makes another 58-yarder right down the middle.
No big deal. Win it, and then they lift him up.
By the way, back to the Patriots.
Yeah.
The kicking game is going to be their demise.
Oh yeah. Well, I think we had talked about that before. They need to figure out the kicking game.
Because,
They got a great punter. Bailey's amazing at punting.
Well, let him kick the field goals because
Yeah.
if Folk makes the 40-yarder or whatever that was earlier in the game, then they only need a chip shot field goal to win the game.
Right.
The kicking is going to be the demise. We got to be careful about that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Butker is wow.
is he a rookie?
I don't know if he's a rookie. He must be a rookie. I don't remember the name.
I don't remember him either.
Yeah.
But what a
Yeah,
weapon.
he's got quite
What
a
a
career.
weapon.
Yeah. He reminds me of like the young Vinatieri, the young Gostkowski.
Those were the 3 greatest kicks I think I've ever seen, given the situation.
Yeah.
And I know it's week 2, so Vinatieri had the greatest kick.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
to make 350 plus,
Yeah.
when 2 of them don't count,
Right.
and just to make them
And
in a row-
with plenty of leg.
yes,
Yeah, he could have made it probably from 65.
yeah. So he's pretty good. I think that Baltimore.
So one of the Ravens. The Ravens. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Baltimore right now is the team to beat because their defense is stout.
Yeah.
And they can score different ways. You got Lamar Jackson who can beat you running the ball.
And I want him to always do well because he's my fantasy quarterback.
Okay.
Who's your fantasy quarterback?
I do dailies. So my fantasy quarterback.
Right. You don't have a team. Gotcha.
I had about 12 of them this weekend. So
that's good.
I had a good weekend though.
Yeah, I don't want him.
I had a good weekend. I'm feeling okay about it. Yes.
Well, we'll have to talk about that. That's good. I don't want him to do well against the Patriots. So I'll put David Carr in that week. He's my backup.
Against the Patriots?
No, when the Ravens play the Patriots. That's what I'm saying.
The injuries, real quickly. The injuries, all the Bosa done. Saquon Barkley done. Mozart, he's out for a few weeks.
Yeah.
Garoppolo, high ankle sprain.
Yep.
He's going to be done for a little while. A plethora of cornerbacks.
My 49ers are falling apart.
Yes, they are.
But
I hope they're still falling
apart. I was going to say
because
I'll be all in with the Pats.
But I mean, those are big losses, big names.
They are.
And they looked at the turf field in New York because of all those 49ers that got hurt.
Yep.
They looked at the turf field. They went and examined it, and I guess it passed, but it's pretty fishy. But those are bad. Saquon Barkley. That's all the Giants have.
I mean, I was going to say that is like if you go to a Giants game, everybody's got a Barkley jersey.
That is all they. Well, nobody goes to the Giants games now, but
it's a good point.
They,
if you're a Giants fan,
but that's all they had. They didn't have anything else going on.
Right.
And now, who's Jason Garrett going to clap about?
He'll find someone.
O-line. All right. AFC East. I mean, the Bills, I think, are rightfully the number one team in the
Yeah, they're
right
2-0.
now.
Right.
They're 2-0. They beat Miami and the Jets, and the Jets don't look very good.
No.
So, I think a loss.
And the Bills Miami game was close.
Very close.
Yeah.
I think the Seattle loss in Seattle is much better than either of the Buffalo wins.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So
I agree with that.
In a primetime game,
yeah,
I think Buffalo's tough though. I think Buffalo's tough, and I think it's going to be a battle. I'm gonna say right now, I would say the Patriots are going to win the AFC East, based on what I've seen the past first couple
weeks. Yeah,
I mean,
as long as they stay healthy. Obviously,
yes.
State in the obvious.
Okay, all right. We have to do our picks.
Okay.
We were both 3-2 the last time we did this. We didn't do it last week.
Right.
So.
Okay. So the first up, we have Los Angeles at Buffalo. Los Angeles at Buffalo.
Is it the Chargers or the Rams?
It would be the.
I don't know. I'm gonna look real quick. I apologize.
That's okay.
Is LA anywhere else on there?
I didn't look. But as you're looking that up, the next team that we have is Houston at Pittsburgh. Houston at Pittsburgh.
That's a tough one. Houston's 0-2. They're in a desperately must-win situation.
To win.
Very must-win, and
I can't. Yeah, so I'll start with Houston at Pittsburgh. I can't first of all root for Pittsburgh. I can't root for Roethlisberger. So I'm going to take J.J. Watt and Houston to beat the Steelers. And they're desperate. They need a win.
I'm gonna say also.
Okay.
I agree. I think desperate teams are scary, and
yeah.
Houston is better than an 0-3 team. Mm-hmm. Now, they're opening. What a schedule they have had. Kansas City.
Yeah.
Baltimore.
Yeah.
And now Pittsburgh. And Pittsburgh's 2-0.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, they've had a challenging start, or having.
So the teams that if they lose, they're right now, the teams they're facing are 6-0.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the hardest schedule that there is.
Right
now. So but we're still going Houston. All right, it's the Rams.
Okay, the Rams.
It's the Rams at the
Rams
Bills.
at Buffalo. So are the Rams 1-1? Let's see.
The Rams are 2-0.
Oh, they are 2-0.
They beat
That's right.
Philadelphia.
Yeah.
And Buffalo's 2-0.
Yeah.
And Buffalo hasn't faced a good team yet. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if I qualify the Rams as a good team. They're a good team. They're not a great team.
Goff's playing okay. All right, you get to start this one, right? Yeah. So what are you doing?
I'm going to say Buffalo. And I want them to win because I want them to get really cocky.
Okay.
Start reading their headlines.
All right, and I'm gonna go with LA.
Okay.
I think they are gonna continue to roll and they'll be 3-0. Okay.
Your boy Brady, Tampa at Denver.
Tampa at Denver. Well, we didn't talk a lot about Tom, but Tom got his first win as a Buccaneer.
Played outstanding according to his coach, but if you watch the game, it didn't seem very outstanding.
I don't think it was outstanding.
I think that was
they're trying to make up.
Yes.
Or he's trying to, I don't think it was outstanding. Gronkowski doesn't play apparently.
Because
because he was a non-factor.
Non-factor.
Didn't get a catch.
And Christian McCaffrey got hurt.
Yeah.
Which I think kind of
That's
swayed
helpful.
that game a little bit.
Helpful.
Brady's throwing picks again. He threw another pick.
So, all right. So, I'll start. Tampa Bay at Denver. I'm not going to root against Tom Brady. So, I'm going to take the Buccaneers.
I'm going to take the Buccaneers because Denver was one of those teams that got really hit hard by injuries. Their Drew Lock, the quarterback,
Yep.
he's got one of those AC sprains in the shoulder, and so he's out for a few weeks. They lost their best wide receiver, Cortland Sutton, maybe his name.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So they're beat up.
They're beat up.
So you're going with the Bucks.
Unfortunately.
All right. The next one, I can't even believe you just put this on for Coach McCullough. This isn't even going to be close. Dallas at Seattle.
Dallas had a big win.
It was a barely win. It's really what it was. It was a gift.
It was a big win. They had 40-39, a big comeback. They were down 20.
I understand. It was a monumental collapse.
Again, by Atlanta.
Yes.
That's what I texted him, 28-3.
Yeah. So for this, Dallas at Seattle, Dallas doesn't even belong on the field with the Seahawks. So the Seahawks, big.
So you got Seattle going to 3-0.
Yes, I do.
I agree. I think Seattle's for real this year. I think they're going to win the West. I don't think it's San Francisco's year.
I don't think it is either.
And
especially now with the injuries.
Yeah, I think they're going to win the West. And yeah, all right. Las Vegas. It's weird seeing Las Vegas.
Las Vegas. I like it though. I like Vegas, baby.
You've been to Vegas, obviously.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And I've been a couple times.
Yeah.
You know how when in the primetime games they always take the camera, like in Boston, they'll take the camera downtown.
Yeah,
Faneuil
downtown.
Hall, that
Sure.
kind of stuff. Seeing the Fountain of the Bellagio and the pools of Caesar's Palace it's a little weird feeling.
Yeah. See the Las Vegas sign.
Yeah, it's a weird. Vegas. There's nothing like Vegas.
It's fun. It's like an adult playground.
Yes.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun. All right, so Las Vegas at New England.
So let's talk about this for a second.
Yeah.
Vegas is 2-0.
They are.
The Raiders are 2-0. They beat New Orleans last night.
Yep.
A depleted New Orleans team, but New Orleans nonetheless.
They still beat New Orleans.
They have a incredible offensive line.
Yep.
They have a great running back.
They have a great coach. I like Coach Gruden.
They have an accomplished coach.
Yeah.
He's accomplished.
I like him.
He's a game plan coach.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he has, like Belichick does. They have tight end Waller, who's pretty darn good.
He is, legit,
they don't have much on the receiving end.
Technically, the Patriots don't either.
Right.
Yeah.
So Derek Carr is a capable quarterback.
Yeah.
I was thinking that when I had first looked at this, I thought, oh, this will be a pushover. Then I watched Vegas play last night and the Raiders play last night.
Yeah. Carr played well.
And they've got their. I'm glad this is in New England. I'm going to pick New England.
Yeah.
Obviously, not just because of my heart. I think that
Yeah.
New England will win this game.
It's not an easy game though. This is a battle.
They're gonna have a difficult time with this.
I agree, and I'm gonna select New England as well.
So the only one that we're differing on is Buffalo and Los Angeles.
Okay, well that's good.
Yeah.
So I'll pick that up. That'll be great. Right?
Sure. Whatever you say.
Hey, that's fine. You're conceding already. That's great.
All right. Maybe next week let's talk about the Red Sox.
I was gonna say, by next week the season should just be wrapped up.
Pretty much over, yeah.
Yeah, and we could do a little MLB preview for playoffs. We could see who we want to pick.
And just talk about where they are. I don't...
I love the sign. Thank you, Timothy Goodwin. Go Sox next year.
Compared to... does it say next year?
No, it doesn't say next year. I added the next year.
Well, I think that there's some hope for next year.
Yeah,
for the
absolutely.
Red Sox.
Yeah.
I think that they have some things going, and the young kids, they're found. Sometimes you need this kind of a season to bring in those young kids to see what you have.
It's just nice that it's not 162 games of this. It's nice that it's shortened.
Yes.
Yeah, and Bob,
yes.
you're right.
That's a good point. It's a good point because 162 games of this. I mean, we checked out after the second game.
We did.
It was after the second game, and Bogart sat. I was like, done.
Yeah.
So they have some things going. They're beating teams.
Yeah. They beat the Yankees the other night.
Yeah. They're playing roughly 500 ball over the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And that would have gotten them in the playoffs if they would have played 500 ball the whole time.
Yep.
I think that there is hope, and they're doing it with the young kids. and I like that. And so, maybe now you got Bogarts, you got Devers.
Bobby Delbeck.
They've been able to take more of a leadership role.
Oh yeah,
on this team.
They're leaders, and I still think you need to get rid of Benintendi.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't even know what his numbers are right now. Have you looked and see what his numbers are?
No. We'll do that for next week.
I'd like to see Jackie Bradley stay.
Yeah.
I think he
so
fits,
good defensively.
I think he fits well with this group.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Benintendi fits well with this group.
Yeah.
And I'd like to see him go. I think they could get something for Vasquez. I think catchers, he's a great defensive catcher. I just think that they could get something there. And I'd like to see them trade Evaldi. They got a year left on Evaldi. And then you have Sale, Erod, Perez, and then whoever else you bring in.
You know what else I'd like to see this offseason is Pedroia retire. Just time. It's time. Retire. You're not coming back, and even if you were to come back, you're an old man.
Since we've been doing the show, he's never really played a game.
No. So, I think it's time for him to go.
Okay.
Just retire. I mean, everyone loves him. I'm still going to love him.
Is he not retiring just because he's collecting the money? Or is he not retiring because he has a thought that he's still going to be able to come back?
He probably has a thought. He doesn't seem to be the guy that's just about the money. He probably thinks that he's going to have a comeback. He's getting older, though.
My God, he's like 36, 37,
yeah,
if not more.
Yeah, so.
I don't see how he gets in there. I really don't. And I feel bad for him, but I agree. It's time to retire. Who's managing the Red Sox next year?
You know who's going to
Alex Cora.
Alex Cora is returning to the Red Sox.
Yeah,
you heard it here first.
All right, so we're going to have a Red Sox moment next week. Maybe a little longer than this moment.
A few minutes, all right.
Anything else?
I'm good.
Next week, we're still not going to have any games going on next week.
No, we're going to talk about golf and maybe get a bass fishing update.
And, that's all we're going to have for Kingswood Sports for next week.
But then after that, we'll get rolling with football and soccer and field hockey and volleyball and all sorts of good stuff.
And we'll know about the Celtics next week, too.
We will know about the Celtics.
Because the series will be over by next week, I believe.
That's
right. The game? Today's Tuesday. We're taping
tomorrow.
Tuesday.
So tomorrow night is game 4.
Why the delay? They just want to get away from football?
No, they're trying to...
There's a football game on tonight?
Hey, let me answer this question.
You know there's a football game on tonight?
They're trying to catch up because the Lakers and the...
okay.
Need to be able to catch up.
Do you know there's a football game on tonight?
Who's on tonight? I didn't know that.
Yes, because of the smoke, and I thought there was a football game on tonight.
Oh, because they postponed one?
I thought...
I don't know. Maybe there's
I'm wrong.
I hope so, because I would love to watch football on
Week 2.
On a Tuesday. What is this? Tuesday night. Yeah. That'll be Tuesday night football. It's Taco Tuesday.
Oh, maybe not.
With football.
Maybe I
I
might
don't
be
know.
wrong.
Mike's going to play Madden
I could have
tonight.
sworn there was a game on
his TV. That'll be the game of the week. All right.
All right, sorry. That's going to do it for us. We want to thank our sponsors, Skelly's Market,
Downtown Grilling Cafe,
and Morrissey's Portion Pub. Thank you guys, and have a great week.
Go Knights.
Go Knights.